All right, Alec.
Yes.
That's another Gents challenge in the books, my friend.
There's another Gents in the books, and Zach,
Yeah.
you didn't do so hot, did you?
I didn't. I didn't. I didn't.
I probably
I
didn't help
am.
you with that by joining Rusty on the Otaku Brothers and
Oh, that's
talking
right.
about.
You are solely to blame. Now I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's
Even
right.
if I had the whole time, if I would have, because Assassin's Creed just didn't get me. I just didn't pull me
Yeah,
in, and there was a lot of discourse on the Discord about
yeah.
Assassin's Creed and like should I have just skipped it altogether or not. But it just didn't work for me. It wasn't hooking me in. But that's not I don't really that's not an excuse. I don't use that as an excuse. And I
Mm.
that's not really the main reason. The main reason was because I ended up playing Final Fantasy 16 most of the time, and it was one of those things. It was like, do I want to play Final Fantasy 16 or Assassin's Creed on the 360? Mm, I'll go play Final Fantasy 16. It's
Yeah,
one of those.
game that's stunning visually, has amazing voice acting, amazing writing, or Assassin's Creed.
And yeah, I dropped the ball, and it's one of those if you don't, you know, I blame Thanos. So
Okay. Yeah, blame him.
it's funny because that's the beauty of the Gens Challenge. I don't think
I know.
any other person would have given me Assassin's Creed out of my list. I had tons of those AAA titles,
Yeah.
but
No, just the OG AC.
But he gave me Assassin's Creed
Uh,
and Earthbound. I'm sure if Earthbound was first, I would have fared much better with that. I'd imagine,
yeah.
but also it would be conflicting with Final Fantasy, so who knows? But ultimately, it's a 15-minute game or 15-hour game, so I could have pushed myself through it if I put in the right amount of effort. So I have no one to blame but myself. And I paid the price for it. I dropped down in the overall rankings like 4 spots for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, jeez. Just by being a rascal this time around, huh?
Because like there were only 3 rascals overall this challenge. Everybody else was either a gent or a supreme gent, which did not help.
Yeah.
And now I'm below. Who am I below? I'm below someone where I'm like, okay, I'm actually permanently below this person because they get supreme gent every time.
Is it Josh Prep?
I don't know if
He's
Josh
moving
Prep is
his
the one
way
who
up.
passed me or
He's been Supreme Gent like
yes,
every time, basically.
Josh Prep passed me by 2 points because of that big drop in the
Yeah.
ball. And so now I'll permanently be at least that spot below
Yeah,
everyone because he's
yeah.
gonna be supreme gent every time.
Yeah.
And boss Chas is 3 points
Yeah.
behind me. So if I'm not supreme gent every time, I'm gonna lose that spot inevitably too. The only one I can hope to catch up to you if you don't stay consistent. I could hope to do that, but you're 6 points ahead of me. And because you were supreme gent this time, as
I was
actually
I was a Supreme
we
Gent.
have the same success rate overall. I think now. I think we both have like. Let me see. We both have 53%. 53% success rate. You just have one or two more supreme gents than I do. It must be
Mm,
a couple. But
yeah.
we've like been the rascal the same amount of times overall. We both competed or participated in every challenge so far. So, but yeah, you were a supreme gent. So,
So yeah, so my game was Celeste. First game was Celeste. I actually beat it a lot sooner than I posted it. I beat it in June, I want to say.
hmm.
But I didn't add it in because I was playing Final Fantasy 16 because it had just come out, and then I decided to put a little bit more time into some of the later levels of Celeste, only to find out that the last level was one in an update that came out like a year after the game, like a year or two after the game came out. And I found out that it is ridiculously long. It is so long, and I was like, man, I have to be getting kind of close to the end now. I wasn't even I don't even think I was a fifth of the way through, and I had been working on it for like 3 or 4 hours. Now, maybe not quite that long. Maybe like an hour. It is so hard. It makes the rest of the game look like a cakewalk. It's so precise. Um, but I loved that game. Celeste was excellent. I can understand why it was nominated for Game of the Year when it came out. Amazing soundtrack. Really kind of, I really liked the way that the gameplay sort of, um, it kind of went hand in hand with sort of what the story was about. Um, the story was really good, just in general. And yeah, I just really, really enjoyed my time with it. Indie games are, I like to say indie games are my jam. I haven't played like enough of them to, I guess, maybe definitively say that, but I have always enjoyed my time with smaller independent games like that.
And you've gotten a lot of them
I'm
on
very,
Gents challenges.
I have gotten a lot of them on Gents challenges, and I'm happy for that because I've enjoyed all of them, including the ones that I have a little bit lower ranked. Um, yeah, it was wonderful. I had an amazing time with Celeste, and eventually I'll go back and I'll um, get through that last level. Um, but I did want to. I spent time getting some of the like the other bonus collectibles in like early stages and stuff like that. So I did like go back and I did some of that, and it's just really fun. Really enjoyable game. If you don't like sort of it's like a precision platformer to an extent. It's similar to Super Meat Boy in a lot of ways, I would say, but it's not like it's
Hmm.
not as slippery as that, I guess I would say. There's actually built-in mechanics in the game to be forgiving, to make it feel like you're making a jump. So you know how like in Donkey Kong Country, how when you roll, you can roll off a ledge and the game gives you like a grace period to make a jump.
Right.
This game has stuff like that too, where it's like it just isn't it wouldn't feel right if it was like too precise.
Yeah.
So it's very good at at giving you a little bit of grace on things like that. And that's, to me, I think is sort of the magic of the game, and that like when you make a mistake, you know you're making a mistake, and you can't really blame the game, despite the fact that it's very hard. You have to. It's just you just have to get better. You just have to practice. You just have to get good. And it's an amazing feeling whenever you get past a part that's giving you trouble. Yeah, and I loved it. Had a great time with it. And the other game is another indie game that I've been playing called Undertale.
Mm-hmm.
As if you'd never heard of it before. Yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't. So I'm currently working on, just because there's three endings. I got the neutral, same ending, but that is beating the game. So count it there. I'm going through and I'm going to do both the other endings as well. So I'm currently in the middle of one of those, and yeah, I mean, the game has been memed to death. But I felt like now is a good time because it's sort of, I mean, it's not like the memes aren't dead. Like people will still reference Undertale when it comes to stuff. But it's it's long past the game's release that it's not as like people aren't as like
It's not too much.
rabid about it. What?
Yeah, it's not overbearing.
It's
Like,
yeah, it's exactly not overbearing. It's not too much. It's right in that nice zone where people are like nostalgic about it now, which is weird to say because it came out like what 2015 or something. So,
hmm
um, but I really enjoyed the game very much. And I found it very charming. It's a game. I was talking with my friend Wesley, who I mentioned already in another video today. Um, he's not really a big fan. He's as I would agree with what he says. It's a game that lives or dies on its writing, and the writing was not for him.
hmm
He's not really into like kind of the zany or quirky kind ofness of the game and its writing. I loved it. I really enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I mean, just all the different little things it's poking fun of and sort of subverting in little fun ways. It's just really funny game, and talking about music's amazing in this game too. I don't care what anyone says about Megalovania. Fine, okay piece of music, I guess. Every other track in this game, I think I like more than that. Granted, I haven't heard Megalovania in context, which I already know because, of course, I do because the internet. How could I avoid what it's the battle theme for? Because the internet is the way it is. I like pretty much every other battle theme more than that theme. They're all so good. He's so Toby Fox is just a talented dude, you know? Good for him for being inspired on making a fan mod on Earthbound.
Right.
Earthbound. And then he's like, I'm going to make my own game. And it's going to be based, inspired by Earthbound, definitely, which it absolutely is, just in terms of its weird zaniness. But that I loved it. I'm looking forward to actually spending time with Earthbound at some point, because I've played some of it. I played a few hours of it a few different times, but I've never sat down and actually played through Earthbound. And influences are definitely there. But magical little game. I can understand why it took off. It's just that right. It's like almost fine-tuned for the internet's sense of humor. For that certain corner of the internet's sense of humor, it's like fine precision-tuned right for them. So I will say I was surprised because I discovered I was like, oh, this piece of music is a YouTuber I watch is like end title, like their Inslate theme, and I didn't know that. And it was from this game. I never knew that until, yeah. So, a lot of fun. I'm glad I'm Supreme Gent.
Yeah.
Happy for that. I'm gonna keep playing Undertale. I did have the collector's edition of it, so it's a very fun, enjoyable game, and definitely isn't for everyone. I think it's actually really funny. I was looking up stuff about if you look at the Steam reviews for Undertale are really funny. Where people are like, puzzles are way too simplistic. 10 out of 10. So it's like Toby Fox put up like funny criticisms, but also there were people that scored the game really high. But he himself is like, yeah, I think it's a little too niche and it's not perfect. So it's like an 8 out of 10 game for me. I'm like, I love this guy. Like, he's not like, yeah, I made the most perfect game. He's like, no, the game's not perfect, and that's probably what I would score it to if I had to put a score down. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. That's 10 out of 10 experience. I would say as a game, probably 8 out of 10. But I love it. It's a fun game. I really like it a lot. Yeah, I'm glad I finally. I finally getting in on the memes, sort of, not really, but I don't really care that much about it.
I'm gonna start posting so many memes just to catch up.
I'm gonna post the most papyrus memes.
You start posting them unironically, I understand these now.
I get it. Oh boy.
Well, that's the challenge for now. We've got a couple months till the next Gents challenge, but worth noting that at the time this video is posted, it'll be underway, the Film Buffs challenge, which is a spin-off Gents challenge essentially. I was like, we did years ago, back in 2019, we did the Scholars Challenge, which was for books. And then we haven't done one since then. But I'd always had this idea, what if we had these off-season challenges, which would be a shorter 1 month challenge between Gents challenges, where it's it's not going to be necessarily the full crew participating every time, but it's whoever's interested in whatever. And I've always wanted to do a movie one. Wasn't sure how exactly to do it, but settled on doing, it'll be the same Gents challenge format where you pair up with someone, but you'll put a list of 20 movies, and then your partner will pick 5 movies for you out of that list. And your movies could be any movies you haven't watched, whether you own them or you can have access through streaming. And then if you want to go for Supreme Film Buff, There's just one bonus movie, which is a movie of your partner's choosing. If you are up for it and you put whatever streaming services you have, they can pick any movie for you to watch.
So so it's any movie then.
Any movie.
I didn't read all the rules.
So just like you list, if you want to go for Supreme, it's just one more movie. You just list whatever streaming services you have: Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever, and then your partner can pick any movie that's accessible through any of those services, and that's just one movie extra you have to watch to be Supreme. So I thought that was a fun little thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is for sure.
And, 5 movies is also was fair. It's a mini challenge; doesn't have to be excruciating. That's a little more than one a week, and it's also the nature of a movie is you could also like not have any of them watched up until a week before and still be able to finish it. You're never really out of it.
Marathon. You can marathon them. You could have like a movie night. You could have like, we'll watch a couple of them tonight or something like that. Do a little double
watch
feature
all 5
and then
in a row.
Take time. You could, if you were so inclined, you possibly could do that.
Mash them all together. Have different outfits for each one. Make a whole event out of it.
You dress up for each one. You're Barbenheimer.
Yes, exactly. But I have faith in myself for that one for sure.
I love movies, so
I went through the movies I own, which aren't that many. I just any ones I was interested in, the ones I own, and then I went through the different like Disney Plus and Netflix and just looked at ones the most interested in me. So I have a pretty solid list, pretty long list.
I yoinked some of yours. Most of mine are probably the rest of mine are almost certainly going to be just all the anime movies that I have. So, couple of the tricks though, I realized as I was putting this together, I was like, ooh. So I have the Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya on there. I have not finished the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. So, in order to get the full effect of that movie, you have to watch that whole show. So I'm gonna have to watch that whole TV show. So if that gets picked, I have to finish that TV show.
Right.
So that's gonna have to be a thing that I do as well.
That's an added challenge you're imposing on yourself.
It is. But like I need something to kick me in the pants and finally get me, because I really like Haruhi a lot, and I need to get around to watching Disappearance finally. So
my brother and I were joking because we've both participated in every Gents challenge and we've never been paired once in so many.
That's kind of crazy that you haven't actually.
And now so far, it's looking like it'll probably be 8 people in this challenge. So like greater odds than ever before that we could be paired for the movie challenge at least. And it's like I'll be down for that. He's got over 500 movies on his list, so that's like, that's who you want to be partnered with. You got all.
That's
all
tons
the choice in the world.
You have the most options you could ever hope to. You could ever want, really.
He literally he said he wants to watch every Disney movie made, including Disney Channel original movies. He's got all the movies he hasn't seen on there, like a lot of trash, but also like a lot of the sequels, like direct to VHS, DVD sequels in there. So you could really, he has like a bunch of Disney nature movies. Like you could really do some weird stuff with his list.
That is a little wacky. I've never gone and watched all the Disney, like the animated catalog. I don't think I've seen every single movie, because there's some of the earlier ones like Bedknobs and Broomsticks and ones like that I've never seen. But
yeah, he's got some really weird stuff in there on that list.
Yeah.
so that'll be interesting. So that's just something we probably won't be doing a standalone video for it, but we'll mention it in the next Tarqaron podcast, I'm sure. And then if people enjoy this one, we could potentially do it again in the future. Or I would always like to do different fun spin-off challenges. It would be fun to mix in between Gents challenges. And then you just always have that staple Gents challenge every 2 months.
That would be fun.
I would like to do a Scholars challenge again, get myself to read some more. I really need to read more. And, I could always think of different challenges too. It would be fun.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. See how everybody enjoys it. Hopefully people post regularly, because like you have 5 movies to get through before you're even considered a film buff. So you theoretically don't even need to post until all 5 are done, but it would be fun if you kind of like post progress as you're watching 1 movie, 2 movie. It'd be cool. Hear
1
people's
movie,
thoughts.
2 movie, 3 movie, 4.
5 movie, 6 movie. Potentially.
Another movie more.
No.
No movies more.
So, I mean, and if you don't complete your 5 movies within a month, you are a bore.
A bore.
Yeah.
Buffs and bores.
I was like, I knew I wanted to do buffs, and then Soul mentioned bore as like the rascal. Like, okay, yeah.
That's good. That's good. It's alliteration.
Yeah.
I mean, Gents of Rascals doesn't have alliteration because rascal literally comes from the Rad Rascals.
Yes. But in the Scholars Challenge, it was like scholar and scoundrel. So that
that's a good one. I like that. You're a scoundrel.
Get a nice little creative one. I would like, just throwing it out there, I think it would be fun to do like a music Gents challenge again. Remember, if you remember years ago, MIDI-Poor did like a music Gents challenge on the forum.
That was actually that was amazing. That introduced me to so many bands, by the way. That was like the coolest thing in the world.
So what do we think? You're a muse? If you
a muse
succeed,
or a mute.
You can't speak.
You get that on mute. You can't speak. You can't speak about anything.
Noise.
You could be a you could be
other music expert words.
Pitch perfect or tone deaf.
Right.
So you could be not as wonderful.
Not
like,
as snappy.
It doesn't have, you don't have the alliteration. But yeah, we'll workshop it. Figure it out.
But I think it would be fun, mix stuff like that, and give more variety going between Gents Challenge.
Yeah, I think so. That's great.
It's like there's no pressure to participate. If you just want to wait till the next Gents Challenge, it'll always be there. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining us for this. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go check out our recent box art battles episode featuring Lauren, where we did Harry Potter video game box arts, pit them against each other. All right.
Yeah.
Let's check that out. All right. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Like the video. Leave a comment, and if you do, be sure to read in the next episode of the Tarqaron podcast. All right. Click the link in the description for our social media and hit that notification bell. Okay.
All right.
Now.